This morning I woke up at 5 a.m., jogged for 2 hours, came back and made a vegetable smoothie, and I don't remember the rest of the dream. I saw that on a page that I've been following lately on social media that has to do with jokes like this. And I think that most of us can identify with these kinds of jokes because, am I right in assuming that all of us have something that we wish that we did a little bit more frequently? A few pounds we wish to shed, perhaps something our doctor has recommended about walking, doing cardio, a certain kind of diet, whatever that might be. I made the mistake when I was younger of assuming that movie actors, when we see them in an action movie or a superhero movie or whatever it might be, that they look like that all the time. But in reality, they get in shape for the movie. Between movies, they look more or less like any of us, right? When an actor is hired to do this kind of a movie, they acknowledge, they said, well, gosh, I'm not in the shape that I need to be in order to play this part. One of my favorite movies ever is Rocky. And I recall an interview with a director that would say, we started filming one of the training montages and we realized that Sylvester Stallone had not lost enough weight. So we stopped filming and we said, you need to go back and lose, 5 more pounds or 10 more pounds or add more muscle or whatever. And then we would come back a couple weeks later and film the training montage when he was at the apex or at the epitome of what that scene required. He had to put in the work, right? And so when actors have to do these kinds of regimens, they don't just say to themselves, okay, I guess I got to get in shape. Now what do I do? They don't do it on their own. They need help, don't they? And I was reading this last week as part of these jokes that there are personal trainers that are hired just for movie actors to get in the incredible shape that they have to get into in order to play the part that they've been hired to play. And these trainers, of course, put them on a special diet, a regimen of sleep, a regimen of exercise, and you name it, whatever else might come along with that. But again, the actors themselves cannot do it on their own. They need to bring somebody in who's going to tell them, show them, and teach them, this is how you do it. This is what you need to do to get rid of those extra pounds, extra this, extra that, whatever it might be. My question this morning to all of us, my brothers and sisters, is do we have something similar to this that we wish we would shed, if you will? It doesn't have to be physical, although many New Year's resolutions have to do with, I got to lose 10 pounds this year, or I got to do this, or get ready for this special event, or my clothes aren't fitting right, or whatever. But more importantly, do we feel out of shape spiritually? Spiritually. Does our soul feel, perhaps, that we need to lose a few pounds? We need to get rid of some sluggishness. We need to get better sleep, some more rest. Do we ever find ourselves saying, I want to get in better shape spiritually. I want to get closer to Jesus Christ because I know how that would benefit me. But I need help. Perhaps I know what I have to do, but I need someone to help me. I need someone to teach me. I need someone to show me how to get in that shape. I won't say who, but someone is a personal trainer in this room right now, and I can almost hear them snickering. Just bear with me, okay? In any case. Well, human beings have always had this question. As human beings, we've always felt, perhaps, a sense of inadequacy, or a sense of, gosh, I know I need to get here, but how do I get there? And so how often is Jesus asked questions like, how do I do this, and how do I do that? One of the first aspects of his ministry that we read in the Gospels, as we heard in the Gospel of Matthew today, which is from the Sermon on the Mount, is crowds and crowds and crowds of people coming to the Lord and asking Him these very questions. How? How do I do it? What should I do? What should my regimen be? How should I go about getting to these goals? A great expression, by the way, that these personal trainers use, which I really like, is what you're doing today going to help you with where you want to go tomorrow? Jesus doesn't say it in so many words, but today He gives very practical advice. And what does He talk about on the day before Great Lent begins? The fathers of the church have placed a reading here about fasting. And if you came to liturgy yesterday, it was from the gospel passage immediately preceding today's gospel passage, and it was about prayer and almsgiving. So we have almsgiving, prayer, and fasting that we hear Jesus instruct us on how to do. Whenever we find ourselves asking, my brothers and sisters, how? How do I get into the shape, quote unquote, that I need to be in spiritually? A fair question. Who will teach me? Who will show me? I can't get there on my own. What do I do? Well, certainly the Lord has taught us, but He has left us something also a little bit more direct. Through His body, that is the church gives us a personal trainer for just these kinds of questions. And these questions and these goals are answered by the personal trainer that is Great Lent. That is Great Lent. The church has offered us something as advice, as a regiment, if you will. Whenever we feel we are not in the shape that we ought to be, how many of us in this room can dare say that we are in the shape that we need to be in spiritually? Myself included, by the way. And so when Great Lent rolls around again, what do we have? Presented to us on a platter. Here's how often you pray. Here's how you fast. Here's what you abstain from. Here's how you do this and that, give alms, and so on. All of the specific details that a personal trainer might give us when it comes to getting our body into shape, the church gives us during this time to get our soul into shape. We ask and we question, and for thousands of years humankind has done this, and yet the church has offered this for just as long. And lest we say, well, these things perhaps are too hard, and they are, they're challenging. I would think that any one of us who has ever been coached by someone who's leading us in exercise knows that sometimes we don't want to hear what that trainer is giving us or what that trainer is telling us to do. It might be too hard. St. Anthony the Great, who was a personal trainer par excellence, the father of modern monasticism, as he is sometimes known, with regards to this question of, is it too hard, says, it is absurd for us to be grateful to doctors who give us bitter and unpleasant medicines to cure our bodies, and yet to be ungrateful to God for what appears to be harsh, not grasping that all we encounter is for our benefit and in accordance with His providence. All that we encounter is for our benefit. It is for our benefit that the church gives us these teachings, these prescriptions, if you will. If we follow these instructions, we too will see that all those goals that we might have for ourselves, I wish I could be a little more patient. I wish I could feel a little closer to God. I wish I could have that strength to do what is right all the time. I wish I would not perhaps feel temptation so acutely in certain situations. If we follow what the church is instructing us to do during Great Lent, again, easier said than done. But like any good workout plan, the more we put into it, the more reward we are going to get out of it. And we will begin feeling that closeness to Christ. and that growth in our spiritual journey, in our spiritual shape to get where we want to go. But lest we think that it is only these preliminary goals that we might have, we know that if we start doing these things, if we start fasting and praying and giving alms and all the things that the church gives us to do during this time, we see that there are other benefits as well. I was reading last week on one of the web pages of one of these personal trainers for the movie stars about how he prescribes the keto diet sometimes, and how, yes, that keto diet is to get rid of fat, but there are other benefits long-term down the road as well. They say that it helps with symptoms of cancer potentially. They say that it might help with symptoms of tumors and Parkinson's and other unforeseen benefits, blood sugar, blood pressure, and so on. If we start doing what the church prescribes, we will see that we will have added benefits for our body as well. It is all good. It is all good news. It may seem strict, it may seem harsh, but in reality, when we do it, we find that freedom. We find that reward that we are looking for so often in so many other places. St. Paul today in his epistle reading talks about the weak man and how God is able to make him stand. When viewed in the lens of this metaphor, that of the personal trainer, this takes on a whole new meaning, does it not? For we are all weak in a way. But through what the church offers and instructs, God is able to make us too stand and to reach that wonderful feast of feasts in which we celebrate all that He has done for us out of His love for us and His sacrifice, that we may be resurrected with Him. So, in conclusion, movie stars, when they need to put in the work, they have the help they need. And we too, when we are ready to put in the work, have the help that we need. And we see the reward that we so desire. Let us welcome this personal trainer into our life, this trainer that is Great Lent, and all the benefits and beauty and peace that it will bring. God bless you. Kali Sarakosti. Amen.